G'day, folks, and welcome to another episode of All About Life in Thailand, where I, Ray, talk about stuff that most people don't even consider, though they should. This time it's about why deep communication with Thai people is nigh on impossible. As a popular tourist destination, Thailand is often seen as a country where English is widely spoken. However, the reality is that a significant portion of the Thai population outside of those working in the tourism industry, have limited English proficiency. This can lead to frustrating communication breakdowns and misunderstandings between Thais and foreign visitors. So in this video, I'll explore the key reasons why English fluency remains elusive for many Thais. By understanding the underlying factors at play, we can work towards bridging the language gap and enhancing the experience for both Thais and international travelers. Hey folks, just a quick heads up. Every Sunday morning, I'm live streaming from Chiang Rai, specifically to answer your questions. So if you live on my side of the globe, in Bangkok it will be at 0630. If you're in London, it'll be at 0030, which is 30 minutes past midnight. And in Sydney, Australia, it's at 9:30 a.m., 0930. If you're on the other side of the globe, it will be on Saturday in Los Angeles at 16:30, Chicago at 18:30, and New York at 19:30. Okay, you're all invited. I'll be there. I hope you are too. One of the primary reasons for the lack of English proficiency in Thailand can be traced back to the country's education system and the approach to teaching the language. Traditionally, English language instruction in Thai schools has been heavily focused on rote learning and grammatical rules rather than practical conversational skills. Students are often required to memorize extensive vocabulary lists, verb conjugations, and complex grammatical structures with little emphasis on developing the ability to engage in natural, fluent conversations. This teacher-centric, exam-oriented approach to English education has been criticized for its ineffectiveness in producing students who can actually use the language in real-world situations. Instead of fostering a love for the language and the confidence to communicate, the system often leaves students feeling overwhelmed and unable to apply their knowledge outside the classroom. Another significant issue within the Thai education system is the shortage of qualified English teachers. Many schools, particularly in rural areas, struggle to attract and retain teachers with strong English proficiency and effective teaching methodologies. In some cases, Thai teachers themselves have limited English skills, having been products of the same education system that prioritizes theoretical knowledge over practical communication. This can lead to a cycle of perpetuating the problem, as these teachers are then asked with instructing the next generation of students. Even for Thai students who receive English instruction in school, the lack of opportunities to use the language in their daily lives can hinder their progress. Outside of the classroom, there are relatively few situations where Thais are required or encouraged to communicate in English, especially in non-tourist areas. This limited exposure to the language, both in terms of listening and speaking practice, can make it challenging for students to develop the fluency and confidence necessary to engage in natural conversations. The lack of real-world application can also lead to a perception that English is not a practical or essential skill in their lives, and maybe it isn't. In addition to the educational system, cultural norms and attitudes within Thai society can also contribute to the country's overall English language challenges. Many Thais, especially those who have not had extensive exposure to English, may feel self-conscious or hesitant to use the language, even if they have a basic understanding of it. This can stem from a cultural emphasis on maintaining a calm, composed demeanor and avoiding situations where one might lose face or appear incompetent. The fear of making mistakes or being judged for their imperfect English can lead Thais to avoid using the language altogether in situations where they could potentially communicate effectively. This reluctance to practice and improve their skills can further hinder their progress in becoming fluent English speakers. In many parts of Thailand, particularly outside of major tourist hubs, there is a perceived lack of practical need or incentive to learn English. Why should they? Unless an individual's job or lifestyle directly requires the use of the language, there may be little motivation to invest time and effort into developing English proficiency. This mindset can be reinforced by the fact that Thais can generally get by in their daily lives without needing to use English, as the majority of the population speaks only Thai. The lack of immediate, tangible benefits to learning English can make it a lower priority for many Thais, especially when compared to other academic or professional pursuits. The Thai language, with its tonal system, complex grammar, and unique script, differs significantly from English in both structure and pronunciation. These linguistic differences can pose significant challenges for Thais when learning and using English. For example, the lack of direct equivalents for certain English sounds, such as the th sound, th, can make it difficult for Thais to pronounce words correctly. Similarly, the subject-verb-object sentence structure of English, as opposed to the subject-object-verb structure of Thai, can lead to confusion and grammatical errors. These structural and phonetical differences can make it harder for Thais to naturally and fluently express themselves in English, even if they have a solid grasp of vocabulary and grammar rules. One of the more perplexing aspects of the English language proficiency issue in Thailand is the tendency for many Thais to overestimate their abilities despite their actual limited fluency. It is not uncommon for Thais to nod or verbally indicate that they understand English, even when they're struggling to comprehend the conversation. This can be a result of cultural norms that prioritize politeness and avoiding direct confrontation, as well as a desire to maintain a positive image and avoid embarrassment. However, this habit of claiming understanding can lead to significant communication breakdowns, as foreign visitors may assume their message has been received and understood, when in reality the Thai counterpart is still grappling to make sense of the conversation. While many Thais may have a basic grasping of English vocabulary and grammar, their ability to engage in natural, fluent conversation is often limited. They may be able to understand isolated words or simple phrases, but struggle to comprehend the full context and nuance of a conversation. This discrepancy between perceived and actual English proficiency can be frustrating for both Thais and foreigners, as it can lead to misunderstandings, missed opportunities for meaningful interaction, and a general sense of disconnect. I go through this lack of understanding without asking on a daily basis. Often what I tell my wife, and she claimed to have understood, is either not done or done incorrectly. And I'm not picking on the trouble and strife. How can I? My Thai is worse than her English. Thus the reverse is also true. I'm often unsure of what Jen is asking for, but unlike Jen and Thais in general, I ask until I am sure I've got it, sometimes to the point of upsetting the trouble and strife, getting impatient with me because I don't understand. By the way, I ask at the risk of her indoors getting short and impatient, while obviously thinking I am too thick to understand. There are many things Jen tells me that I can make no sense of, but just like the Thais, I nod my head and say, "Really?" However, I am only a head nodder when it is petty gossip or tales I have no interest in. Don't ever assume all is clear and understood with the person serving you, because 99% of the time it is not. If it's something important, question the person serving you to be sure he or she understood. So there you have it. One of the biggest challenges we non-fluent Thai speakers have to face frequently. But hey, this is Thailand. If you can't speak the language, don't blame the Thais for the problem. Remember, English is not the native language of Thai people, so it's your responsibility to be sure you are understood. Okay, cobbers, I've said my bit. Now I'd like to know your thoughts or questions on this topic, so pop those in the comments. Thanks for staying until the end. Until the next video, share this one, take care, and uru for now.